Hey there, Headspacers. How's everyone doing? Hope you all are well. Today is, let's see, we are here with episode number 22 of Headspace with Dr. Mike. I tell you what, I have a friend next to me. You may recognize that we have some different folk that aren't here because my team has abandoned me. How can they do such a thing? No, it's all good. Christy is getting beautied up. You know, she's preparing for the entrance of her baby boy Mason, and so she's getting ready for all that. And so she took a day off today. And Christine has some duties with her sorority, and Christopher is out on the baseball field somewhere refereeing or umpiring. I'm sorry. And so we actually have a guest today in the form of Miss Crystal Frowner. Crystal, say hi to the people. Let them know how you're doing. We can't hear you just yet. Crystal is having some technology difficulty, but she's working on it. And so we are all good today. We're all good today. But good morning, Brother Kevin. Good to see you, my friend. It is great to see you. We got folk literally all over the world. Before I go any further, some people have been asking, hey, I want to check this show out, but I can't catch it at 11 o'clock on Saturdays. That's perfectly fine. First of all, at 2 o'clock on Sundays, it is broadcast on the Elevate Your Life Talk Radio, and it's aired. So this episode will be aired tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But then also Sunday night into Monday, it becomes available on anywhere you get your podcast from. So you can actually go to Spotify, you can go to Google Podcasts, and we're in the process of working on Apple Podcasts. Theirs is a little more difficult, so we're getting that squared away. But anyway you hear your podcast from, you should be able to get a hold of what we are doing. So make sure you check it out, Headspace with Dr. Mike. Let your friends know and all that stuff. I'm so excited to let you all hear what it is that we all are doing. So I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and while Crystal is getting herself squared away, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you all our heads up for the day. It's always nice when you actually can go ahead, and Crystal's getting herself squared away with her technology and that sort of thing. And so, a lot of times in Heads Up, I like to talk about different topics. And one of the areas that I get asked a lot about is, how do you prepare yourself for success? And, that's a great question. I mean, success is such a crazy term in itself. Like, what exactly do we mean by success? Like, how do we set ourselves up for success? Well, whether it is you're trying to build a winning brand, whether you're working towards success, you're trying to gain momentum in a project, or, if there's something in the area of your life that you just want to see an increase in, it starts with your smile factor. Your smile factor? What do you mean by that? It starts with your smile factor, right? Smile, S-M-I-L-E. And so a lot of times what I like to do is, sometimes when I go out and I talk to folk, I tell them, ask them, what's your smile factor? I remember back when I was in college, I was on the speech and debate team. And as a part of the speech and debate team, I actually had to deliver a speech, persuasive speech. It was a persuasive speech on Olestra. It was something about fat-free fat. You may have heard about this. Olean was one of the brand names for it, and was persuading people to not eat food with Olean in it. And the judge that was judging at this particular round at the end of the tournament and stuff, I did pretty well at the tournament, but I got my ballot sheets back and, talked about how I did everything great in the round, but they said the one thing that was missing was my smile. They said the magic begins with a smile. And I thought that was just kind of stupid, to be honest with you. And so further down the road, I was sitting in an auditorium waiting. I think we were waiting for awards to start at another tournament. And I happened to be sitting next to this person who was my judge in that round. And they were asking me how the season was going and stuff. And so I said, I got a crazy question to ask you. On my ballot, you said something about the magic begins with a smile. And she said, oh, that's easy. She said, I was not convinced that you believed in what it was that you were persuading us on because you never gave me a smile. There were times where you were talking about things that were happy, times that you wanted to tell us that you wanted to encourage us, but you looked real serious and said the magic begins with a smile. And that really stuck with me for a number of years, so much so that as I'm preparing my heads up today, one of the things I want to talk to you is ask you about, what's your smile factor, right? The magic begins with a smile. And the first thing, you're trying to set yourself up. Here's key number one, see who you are, right? See who you are. You have to take inventory of what it is that you're bringing to the table. I remember back when I was in high school, my class, as our class project, we actually opened a school store. And this was my first time actually working any type of retail. And we were all excited about it. I mean, we had candy bars, we had t-shirts, we had cans of soda and juice and little, fake jewelry, school supplies. And we were really, really excited. We had a real cash register. And I remember our advisor said, before we can open up, we have to take an inventory. And we were like, inventory? We had to count everything that we were starting with. And then she said, every month we have to go and take inventory of what our stock is. She said, that's the only way we can actually determine how far we've grown, how much profit we've made, how much profit we lost, because you got to have a baseline, but then you also have to know what your progress is along the way. And so seeing who you are is understanding that I'm a success. I want to be successful. I want to do this. I want to do that. But what is it that you're bringing to the table? Who exactly are you? And what is it that you bring to the table? And as you're answering this question, you may be saying things like, who am I? Like, where did I come from? What do I do? What is it? Where is it that I'm trying to head? What kind of family do I come from? What kind of experience have I had, right? What is it that makes you special? That's see who you are. Right? What is it that makes you special? Maybe you're going out for a job, and the question becomes, if you're called in for an interview, obviously the other people that are being interviewed have something on paper that, is comparable to you. So what is it that sets you above everybody else? See who you are. Take inventory of what it is. Here's the M. The M is this, a model. You got to find a mentor or find a model. So once I know exactly who I am, then what I need to do is I need to have an example of what I'm trying to get to. Have you ever tried putting a puzzle together and not look at the picture of what the puzzle is supposed to look like when it's finished? Now think about that. Like, how does that work? Unless you have like super abilities, right? It's kind of hard to put together a puzzle pieces if you don't even know what the puzzle looks like. Right? You got to have an example. You got to have a model of what you're trying to build. Same thing with Legos, same thing with model cars, model planes, right? What is it that you're trying to put together? What's the example that you're trying to have? And so what does that look like? Maybe it includes having a mentor. I am a huge fan of mentorship, right? I think mentorship is a very important piece, and mentors don't have to be very formal, but here's how it works. First of all, when you have a mentor, you have to be honest. In other words, you have to really, you can't hide things from your mentor. It's almost like when you go to the doctor asks you what's wrong. You can't tell the doctor other stuff. You got to tell the doctor what's wrong because they can't prescribe for you what to do, if you're not being honest with them. So you got to be honest. You have to be open. What does that mean, Mike? It means I got to be open to other possibilities, right? I got to be open to a way of thinking that I wasn't used to before, or I'm not comfortable with, or I got to be open that there were some things that I wasn't willing to try before, but I need to be open that they're going to work, or that I'm going to try them, even if they take me out my box. And then here's the last thing. You got to be willing, right? I can prescribe to you. If I'm your mentor and I'm telling you what to do, I can tell you until I turn blue, which would make me a big smurf, right? But nonetheless, I can tell you till I turn blue what it is. If you're not willing to do the work, what we got? I'm serious. If you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing, I can't do the work for you. I can't want it more than you, right? I can't force it into you. You have to be willing. That's what happens when you find a model, when you find a mentor. You have to be willing to do the work. How it works. You got to be honest, open, and willing. You got it? All right, so review. First of all, smile factor, S, see who you are, right? M stands for find a model or find a mentor. I is imagine your life. It's a great quotation. You've heard me say this on the show before. Vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. Vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. um, every time I think of that quotation, I just imagine going to the grocery store with no list on payday, and I haven't eaten all day. You haven't been there, right? You have no list, so you have no plan. Everything looks so good. The money is burning your pocket. Like there's no limitations because it's payday. Listen, at least one day you're a rich man or woman. And you have no plan. And so you go through the grocery store, everything looks so good. Oh my gosh, I'm going to make this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? It causes a nightmare, right? It causes a nightmare because it's like, how am I going to be able to do? If you don't have vision or any of that, what is it that you're going to be doing? And so you find yourself in a situation where now all of a sudden you have no plan. You got to imagine your life. You have to start thinking about where is it that I want to go? Where do you want to be 30 days from now? Where do you want to be 60 days from now? Where do you want to be 90 days from now? 30, 60, 90 plan, right? Right? Or let's take it even further. Where do you want to be a year from today? I challenge you all, whatever day you're listening to this, I want you to put on your calendar a year from today, and I want you to build a list for where you want to be this time next year. We're recording this on June 5th, 2021. Where do you want to be on June 5th, 2022? Here's the next one. Where do you want to be 5 years down the road? And then where do you want to be 10 years down the road, right? 10 years, like 10 years from now, where do you want to be? And I'm going to tell you something. Those of you who are young and you think 10 years seems like a long time away, I've been married for 11 years. We just celebrated my 11-year anniversary. And Chevelle and I were sitting around talking about, man, where did the 11 years go? It flies. Decades fly. Where do you want to be 10 years from now? And there's so much that you're going to be doing. And you don't want to look back and imagine, man, if I had just put the work in early on, this is where I could be 10 years from now. You want to say, man, I'm so glad I put the work in, and this is where I'm at 10 years later. All right, so see who you are, find a mentor or model, imagine your life. Here's the L, live your dream. Live your best life, right? This, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, you live it out loud, right? You listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I know I have some clients that are on their weight loss journey like I am. And one of the things they start doing is they're like, Mike, I'm getting ready to get some new clothes. Yes, get those new clothes, those smaller clothes. Start wearing those things. Why? Because now you're living that out. What this also means, though, is that there are some people, and I've said this before, there are some people that can't go on the journey with you. They're not making a positive contribution to what it is that you've established as your mission statement, your vision statement for life. There are some folk that are actually holding you back and keeping you from getting to the potential that God has established for you in your life. And they're holding you back because they don't have the same type of mindset. They don't have the same type of mission statement, the same type of vision. Listen, every year, I tell you all this time, I tell you the week before my birthday, I start doing a purge. I start erasing people from my Facebook page. I start getting rid of numbers in my phone book because, well, my phone, contact list. Because I start asking the question, has this person made a positive contribution to where I'm trying to go? Or are they somewhere else? And you got to start doing it because not everybody can go with you. All right. So here we go. See who you are, mentor, model, imagine your life, live your dream. And here's the last but not least, evaluate and evolve. You have to take time to evaluate where you're going and what you've done. Right. But then you evolve into where you're trying to get to. And some people get nervous about this because they say, well, Mike, what that means is that I kind of like what it is I'm bringing to the table. I like who I am. I get all that. I promise I do. But the question is everything that you're bringing to the table, is it really serving you well, right? Evaluate. McDonald's, right? People talk about McDonald's all the time. What is McDonald's is known for what? Hamburgers and French fries, right? They hamburgers and French fries. That's where you go, right? Well, if McDonald's just kept serving hamburgers and French fries, would they still be the #1 fast food restaurant in the world? They would not. They evaluated and recognized, you know what? Chick-fil-A is coming up with this great chicken sandwich. Burger King has greater burgers. Wendy's is doing this, this, and this. So they evaluated, said, where do we stack up with them? And then they started evolving. Look, I can go to McDonald's and I'm on a healthy lifestyle. Believe it or not, I can get, there's some healthy options for me at McDonald's. I don't do it often, but I may find myself from time to time in a place where I need something that's healthy, and I can get a grilled chicken in a salad and I'm good to go, right? You may not want to drink Coca-Cola, but guess what you can do? You can go and you can get a Frappuccino, you can get coffee, fancy coffee. I mean, you can get frozen coffee. I mean, what happened? McDonald's said, look, in order for us to stay relevant for where we're trying to go, we evaluated, said that this need to happen, and we evolved. I can still go there and get French fries and hamburger, but I can also get so much more as well. Why? Because they evolved into what they needed to be relevant for where they're trying to be and go. Question for you is, how are you evaluating? How are you evolving? Are you keeping yourself in an echo chamber where you're just allowing the voices of those who sound a lot like what you want to be and what you want to do, and you're letting that ring out? That's not evaluating and evolving. That's kind of just being. Question is, where do you want to go? And are you evaluating and evolving to that? And with that being said, I ask you, what is your smile factor? See who you are, find a model or mentor, imagine your life, live your dream, evaluate and evolve. And that's my heads up. That's my heads up. And Miles, I think we need to pay our first bill. We got to pay our bill with Garrett before we bring Crystal on.
2020 gave birth to a lot of endeavors. Here in 2021, everyone has had to get in touch with their inner producer. Our man Garrett Brace is one of those guys you need on your team. We at Headspace with Dr. Mike are clients of his, as he ensures all of our audio files are crisp, clean, and cool. If you have any audio, video, and even lighting needs, hit him up at G Walt Services on Instagram. Remember, G Walt Services.
Can you hear me?
All your audio, video, and lighting needs.
All righty. Crystal, it looks like you are in the studio and ready to go, yes?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Woo! I hear you loud and clear. I see you. Oh my gosh. It is so good to have you. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing well.
I'm glad to hear that. So we are here. So folk know I told everybody that our normal team, they abandoned me in my hour of need. No, they're an awesome team, and they just have to live their lives. And this is my life, and they have theirs. And so I, in the 10th hour, I said, you know what? I'm going to bring in a friend who we have some history, don't we, Crystal? I mean, we've known each other, man, how long? 20 years? Has it been that long?
You may be old, but I'm not.
I didn't say our age. I just said how long we knew each other. Listen, as far as the people could have known, we could have been next to each other in the nursery, in the baby nursery after we were born. I'm see that you done told on yourself. See, you done told on yourself. We've known each other for a long time. We actually we did the ranks at school and all this stuff. And so, Crystal, I just am so excited, and I'm tickled black that you decided that you would join us today to kind of hang out with us. Are you excited about being here with me?
Yeah, I am. I see your team is like the Ravens instead of like the Chiefs.
Oh,
okay.
Let's see.
We would be here for you.
Oh, let's see. Well, not every member of my team is a Ravens fan, so maybe some of that Steeler juju has kind of worn off on some of them. Maybe that's what's going on. As y'all can see, we are not talking about football today because Crystal loves her Chiefs and I love my Ravens. But what we are going to talk about, there was a school right around the corner from the school that we went to, Wilberforce University. What happened at their graduation, Crystal? Tell the people what happened.
Well, it was about a week ago when at the graduation, the president announced that all of the student debt would be forgiven.
Now,
I went to the wrong school.
I know. Well, we went to the wrong school on the wrong year, right? Because they definitely didn't do that at our graduations, did they?
Right. We should have graduated this year instead of last year.
At the right school, right? Oh my gosh, Wilberforce University, one of the it was an early, I don't know if it's one of the first historically black HBCUs, but it is it's early on in Southwestern Ohio. And the president, he got up and he said, I just want to let you know that the board of trustees, that's what makes it approved, credible. He said, they've dismissed your debt. And the praise break that they had in that place, I tell you what, I know there was some wigs getting lost. I know there was some two-stepping taking place. Can you imagine what Can you imagine what you would have done?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to turn flips, but I would have learned that day.
Back flips or front flips? That's the key.
Backwards.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, congratulations to the Wilberforce class of 2021 and your debt-free life. Live your best life. Don't get back into debt. Use this as the gift and do something with it. That's exciting. You know, it's been great actually watching the Facebook feed of everybody's graduations, you know, because last year it was a different situation. So this year everybody kind of gets to, you know, don their cap and gown. I'm even excited because, you know, I became Dr. Mike in the winter, and so I didn't get to participate in my graduation, and so I just got an email that I actually get to participate in graduation. I'm excited about wearing, you know, because that people look at the regalia for the doctors and they're like, oh, that's nice. It's expensive too, so I want to get my wear.
Yeah, y'all get to wear the velvet, right?
The velvet hats. The velvet.
You got the stripes.
Yep. Got my 3 stripes on the side and my little tam, I think that's what it's called, and my big long hood. I'm excited. But I'm really excited about the class of 2021, the class of 2020, because I know a lot of schools allowed the class of 20 to come back and do their graduation. So that's great. One more thing, Crystal, because one thing that did get canceled last year, we know that I look forward to these every 4 years, is the Summer Olympics. And last year's Summer Olympics were supposed to be held in Tokyo, and because of the fact that the pandemic, right? They weren't able to have it, and so they're saying they're going to have it this year, which I think is weird. It's going to be like the Tokyo 2020, but it's going to be 2021 edition, right? But they're saying that, you know, the people of Tokyo don't want it, but the government of Tokyo is saying, well, too bad.
Yeah, because they spent all that money.
They spent a lot of money. Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think they should be having the Olympics?
I think for the athletes, they should have it. Okay. Because some of them, by the time 4 years from now, they would have aged out.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have gotten their moment.
Yeah.
So I think that so some people can participate. I think that they should still go ahead and have it because you practice for all those years. I mean, a lot of them start as children, especially like the gymnastics. There's only a small span as to which they can compete.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that it's important that we give those athletes an opportunity to I think we do have to give the athletes an opportunity to compete and just figure out what that's going to look like. So I think that, you know, I think it's a bigger picture because it's a reimagining what we've known. And I think a lot of times we tend to get ourselves in situations where we want to go back to what was comfortable and what we knew, right? And I think a lot of people want to go back to what the Olympics used to look like. And I think it's one of those things that you got to start imagining. Olympics aren't going to be what it's been in the past. Like, for instance, those athletes aren't going to have their family in the stands watching them like they typically do. And you're not going to hear all these, you know, USA. You know, I've been there. Like I've been a part of those competitions. And so hearing everybody shout for their country and stuff is not going to happen. But I think I am very much in favor of them figuring out how to make it happen for the athletes. Absolutely. Yeah. Crystal, what if you could go to the Olympics, what sport would you go to the Olympics for?
Which sport? Gymnastics, of course.
Oh, you want to be Simone Biles. We're going to talk about her in a few moments because I
want to twirl. I want to
have. Do your backflip that you doing because you debt free after college?
I would start like an Olympic modeling group or something.
Olympic modeling? I wonder if they would have. Well, you know, they add sports all the time. You should put your recommendation over there.
Or shopping. I would be the best shopper.
Olympic shopper. Speaking of shopping, I think we got to pay a bill. Okay. Go ahead and pay a bill. Go ahead and pay a bill. My house.
Headspace with Dr. Mike Show on all social media platforms at Headspace DM. We want to keep you up to date on all of our hot topics and keep the dialogue going even after the show. We also value what's important to you and your community. DM your show ideas to us on Instagram or Facebook. The next time you log on, you may hear Dr. Mike discussing the very topic or issue close to your heart.
So we were talking about Olympics and the competitors, and I was watching last night a clip on Instagram. They had like Simone Biles. I think they're in the middle of the USA Championships, and they're basically saying that there are 5 slots for the women's gymnastic team, but there basically is only going to be a competition for 4 of them because Simone Biles is definitely an automatic. Like, she's a shoo-in. Like, she's definitely going to go. Like, there's no question. Because apparently the women's gymnastic is not like other sports where, you know, you have to kind of like rank, you know, at the certain competitive trials, you have to get like 1 and 2 or 3 or whatever. What happens is the people that win the first and second, they're automatically go. And then the committee determines the other members of the team. And so, like, you know, you may not even do well at the trials and you still get to go. And I think that's happened in the past. But they said that she's going, and I just think that's incredible. I mean, when you think about it, back when we were growing up, Crystal, we didn't see, well, I guess let's take that back, because Dominique Dawes was African-American, but it wasn't a big sport. We didn't see a lot of African-Americans in gymnastics. No. So it is nice to see Simone Biles doing what she does. But that girl is bad. I think they were talking about there's a move that she did on the vault that men, like, it's a man's move, and no woman has ever attempted it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched it. It was crazy. Amazing. I think it was like a triple flip thing.
Yeah, it was something Russian. It was named after the guy that did it first. But the other piece about the controversy with it is that they're saying because it's such a complicated move, in many ways her score is getting deducted because it's so complicated. Like, she's not getting the weight of the like, I guess the scores are determined by the complication of the move. But that move is so complicated, it doesn't even have a baseline. So actually, she's not getting the amount of points she probably should get, based on the rules or something. So I just think that's just kind of jacked up. But
for sure, she should get an A just for effort. Okay, the other ones ain't trying it.
Right. I mean, it's automatic 10, right? Because she did something just real complicated. I agree.
She did it.
They should have us on the team, Crystal. Now, Naomi Osaka. Yes, you need to be a judge, right? Naomi Osaka, what did she do in Paris?
She took an off day. That's what she did. She called in sick. She said, y'all don't want to listen to me? This is what I'm going to do.
Is it really that simple? Though she did, you know what? Though, in many ways, she called in sick. She took a mental health day, didn't she?
She took a mental health day. She wrote them a letter. She told them they was getting on her nerves. She said, stop asking me the same daggone questions. I've been answering them for years. You're plucking the same nerve over and over and over again.
Over and over again. That's right.
She said, I'll take the fine because I don't play for the media. I play for the association, you know. And they got mad. And she said, mental health day.
Mental health day. You know what? I'm not even mad at so that everybody knows, we are not making fun of the fact that she is taking mental health, because mental health is a big thing, right? So we know that. But at the same token, it does go to show how important we do have to start thinking about taking care of ourselves. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, it's just a tournament, right? It's a little bit of money for my livelihood. And, you know, how good is she going to be? And, you know, Naomi Osaka, I really appreciated what she did. She said, and I think it goes back to, from what I'm hearing, the French media especially is pretty rough. And we've known that. I mean, let's face it, Princess Diana, you know, they were running away from the paparazzi in France. And so by no means am I expressing, like, trying to talk bad about French and France and French people or something like that. But the culture of the media, from what I understand, is pretty rough.
And can you imagine how old is she? She's so young. So I think it's admirable for her to stand up for her own self, you know, to first write the letter and say, hey, this is a problem for me, you know, and this is how it's affecting me. Yeah. And then for them not to listen, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. And you bring up a good point that she's young. So a veteran, right? When we started talking about this African-American Black girl power, Black girl magic in tennis, right? We think of Venus Williams. This is what Venus had to say about that issue when she was asked about it.
For me personally, how I deal with it was that I know every single person asking me a question can't play as well as I can and never will. So no matter what you say or what you write, you'll never light a candle to me. So that's how I deal with it. But each person deals with it differently.
Mic drop.
Exactly.
I mean, mic drop. I mean, what more is there to say? She was like, that's the 2021 version of sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Right. Venus Williams. You can't beat me.
Auntie Venus said, listen, that's how I deal with it. She said, you can't beat me. I love that. That'll preach. That'll preach one day. I need an organ up under that. That will preach. That'll preach. I mean, seriously. I mean, at the end of the day, you can say what you're going to say, but you can't beat me. So there's that. Wow. All right. So speaking of aunties and the blending of culture, because you had the old culture and the newer culture, Monique is back in the headlines again. She is back in the headlines again. She, you know, because she upset Mother Oprah and Father Tyler and a few years ago with her rants, and so now she done gotten on there. What did she say, Crystal? What did Auntie Monique say?
Actually, she came, in my opinion, rather nicely, and she said, "Look here, sweet babies, my queens, please stop wearing bonnets and pajamas and slides and slippers, your house clothes, outside. Inside, okay. Outside, no way." That's what she said. In summary.
So are you saying that you tend to lean more on the side of agreement with Monique, or you disagree with Monique?
I agree with her. I lean more towards her side.
Okay.
But like you said, I'm more old school.
Yeah.
And my mom was raised on the south side of Chicago. Okay. And I had 7 aunties. And they did not play. They did not hold their tongue. They would tell you quick, fast, in a hurry how to get right and stay right. Like to this day, I call my auntie, and before we get off the phone, she asked me, have I been drinking my apple cider vinegar? And since I'm not married, have I been doing my sit-ups? She's like, do you do 100 sit-ups before you go to bed?
Wait a minute, the sit-ups? The sit-ups. The sit-ups. I wasn't ready for the sit-ups. Not the sit-ups. Your apple cider vinegar and your sit-ups. Okay.
She said you would get that stomach flat.
Not the apple cider vinegar and the sit-ups. Okay. So
they're just old school like that. And they used to, I remember one time I went to go visit them, and I used to, my mom pressed my hair out, but I was super hyper and I would run around. And so I ended up having to go to church, and I sweated out my press and curl. All I had was like an afro and little curls at the end, you know, whatever. And my aunties made fun of me like the whole entire time. You know, they'd be like, oh, your dress is cute, but what's going on with your head?
Wow.
So I grew up in that area. Well, not really. I heard about that era.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, she raised some black guys, and I think you're onto something about that. I think it's a generational perception of the generations. I remember for me growing up, my parents did, like, we have this area in Baltimore called the Inner Harbor, right? And it's downtown Baltimore. We weren't allowed to just go down. I couldn't go down there in sweats, you know, in a t-shirt I had to go down there like I was somebody, like I didn't necessarily have to wear a suit to go downtown, but I need to put some good clothes on, right? And I think that goes back to the fact that, that if that area the Inner Harbor wasn't developed until the 80s, but during the 60s, during the, Jim Crow, which we had here in Baltimore, there were certain areas of downtown Blacks were not allowed in. And so, that was one of the things that my mom always said, there were certain areas that we weren't even allowed in. And so you need to respect that. And so I can kind of appreciate that. I have mixed feelings on the whole thing. I think that had it come from someone else, perhaps others would have received it better, right? Who actually could have said something like that and people wouldn't have given her as much backlash, I wonder. I think it's just because Monique is so,
Actually, I think like this generation doesn't really receive criticism that well.
That's a good question.
Or instruction, I should say.
That's a good
because
point.
I don't think it came from a hard place. Like I don't think she was trying to be mean or anything like that. And I think that everyone is so opinionated, and I don't think it would have been really well received regardless of who had said it.
Yeah.
But like I said, in my opinion, I think that there are other things that are just as simple to throw on your head if you aren't, you just want to be comfortable and casual. We can put a baseball cap on it. That's super easy. You can tie your scarf in a cute way. There's nothing wrong with that. There's those turbans. I've been outside in a turban before, so there's lots of other options. And I understand that everyone has the right to do what they want to do. But I think oftentimes there has been a loss of the community, so to speak, where we don't recognize that each one, we do represent each other, For those, there's a lot of people who don't have interactions with Black people or Black women. And so then they automatically assume just off of one person, this is how that interaction is when it's not.
You bring up a good point, Crystal. I think that this is going to open up for some more conversation. I would love to have you come back and maybe even have some of the other female members of our team kind of come on and talk more about this, because I think, as a man, it's a little easier. I will be honest with you, it's a little easier. We're allowed to get away with so much, as men. It's kind of, real easy for us, and so it's hard. I know what I like to see, but at the same token, I'm not shopping, anymore. 11 years, right? I put a ring on it, and so, but with that, it's very fascinating, and I want to continue that discussion. So, would you be willing to come back at some point so we could talk about this a little further?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and hit it, Miles.
Our world is filled with polarizing topics that land most people on one side or the other. The Headspace with Dr. Mike team isn't afraid to take them on. Monthly, we will invite people on both sides of some of the most controversial topics, from the serious to the silly, to debate their positions. We look forward to charged discussions that will inform and entertain. DM your head-to-head show ideas to us on Instagram or Facebook at Headspace DM.
Right, Crystal. So we have been in the middle of the 30 and 60 challenge, and actually in about a week, in about 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, actually a little less than 2 weeks from today, it is going to be over. We will hit our 60-day mark. First of all, I know everybody wants to be, where am I at with my weight loss journey? So drum roll, please. As of this morning, I am down 43.7 pounds. So there's that. 43.7 pounds. Yep. Thank you. Down 43.7 pounds. Feels great. I feel good. I really feel good. I'm glad I started the challenge. I feel a little bad because we got the challenge going on Facebook, and then it kind of deflated a little bit. So I need to make sure these last 2 weeks I really kind of pump it up again because I know some things have been coming out about it. I've been getting DMs from some folk. I have a person who actually is in the process of getting their book read now because they have the editors reading it. They have the editors actually sitting there reading it to put some final corrections on it so that by the end of July, it'll be ready to go to print so that they can have it ready by September. Crystal, wait a minute. You're doing something with the 3060 challenge. What are you up to with it?
I've been writing myself.
Get out of here.
Yes.
Get out of here.
I've been writing, and then I've also I started a YouTube channel, so I have to get that together.
Yes. So you actually have you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
Y'all need to see some of these videos that Crystal posts. She posts on Facebook. It was funny too because she said to me, now, are you sure that you want me on this show? I said, no, I really am sure because you are just as crazy as I am, if not a little crazier than I am. So I love it. So you were doing some writing. What kind of writing are you working on?
Well, I have been making up content for my videos, and then I've also been started writing some devotionals.
Really? Like devotionals, like when we're doing a quiet time in the morning and doing our Bible study in the morning and stuff like that. Really?
Yes. So I'm putting like a little collection together. I'm just been going off of what comes to me. I mean, of course, I pray about it. Yeah. And ask Lord what He wants me to write. And I know once I get finished, we'll see what I have that's more cohesive and go from there. But they're kind of like my videos, but just crazy stuff that happens to me.
Like what? Give me one example of something crazy that's happened to you.
Like from the past or like with the devotions?
Just in general. Like one of your crazy stories that you like to tell.
Oh goodness, I have so many. I don't know why strange stuff always happens to me. Like I swear I have like 5 guardian angels. Like somebody is missing a guardian angel. Like
because they helping you out.
Yes. It's like I can't just get one. They have shifts. They have to tag each other in. You know? Because
they have to take the night watch as well.
Exactly. They're like, who left her unattended? Get her.
So one of our listeners, Kevin in Denver, he said, "Are you doing a devotional book, Crystal?" So you're actually are you hoping to actually put them into a devotional book?
I'm hoping to get it together and do a book.
Okay, that's awesome. How soon do you think you're gonna get it together?
That's between God, okay? Because when He tells me I'm done, then I'll stop writing.
Yeah. Okay. Good for you. I'm excited about that.
Like 6 stories right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if I should get 10 or like how long it should be.
Very good. Very good. So you've been doing this as a part of the 30 to 60 challenge. What did the challenge do for you in that regard that like you didn't have? Because I mean, obviously you had this vision for the book. It didn't just pop up overnight. But what was it about the 30 to 60 challenge that kind of set you up so that you could, make more progress in that area?
It was the 30 minutes a day. It's not a long time. And even if you do an hour, if you have 24, an hour really isn't that much. It's not even 10% of your day. So just writing a little bit and dedicating that time to doing it, that's what really helped me focus.
Good for you. It's funny,
so much time.
Don't we all? Time is, a lot of people talk about the fact that money, they say money is our most valuable asset. But what I found in life is that time is the most valuable asset. Like we only have 168 hours in a week, right? And the question becomes, what do you spend your time on? And there was an exercise years ago that when I was a speaker with Monster, that we used to, when we would do our keynotes in the high schools and even the colleges, one of the things we would talk about is, do you spend your time like it's money, right? And what does that look like? And how just like when you don't pay attention to how much you're spending your money on, after a while you look back and you're like, I have nothing to show for it. You start looking at what you put your time into and how you didn't budget your time, and bam, all of a sudden you're like, man, I have nothing to show for it.
Right. Because it's just like you were saying earlier, if you write down the day's date, a year is going to go past whether you want it to or not. So what have you done in that time? How have you increased? How have you become better? Are you still the same? And like you said, 10 years. When we were younger, oh my goodness, that seemed like an eternity. Now it's like a snap of the fingers.
No, that's a good point.
Be like, how did I get here?
I think there was something on Facebook where a person had talked about how they have kept putting off getting their master's degree. And they said, it's going to take me 3 years to get it done. And the other person's response to them was, well, 3 years is going to get here, whether you like it or not. Like, the question is the 3 years going to get here with your master's degree or without it?
Right. Even just now, I was like, it's June 1st. What happened? It was just New Year's.
Yeah.
Literally.
Time is dwindling. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I'm sitting there. We were Sharella, Mike, and I were talking about looking forward to vacation this summer, and our vacation, we already have it booked up in the middle of July, and we were talking about, man, I'm excited about it getting here, but I don't want to rush it here, because the more I rush it here, the more it's over. Because we're going to be sitting in September saying, man, that was a great vacation.
Where are you guys going?
We're starting out in Florida. We wanted to find a place. I know Florida in the middle of July. I mean, that's a glutton for punishment, but we were looking for a place. This will be the first, we hadn't really got to hang out with Sharella's family in Ohio, my family here because of the COVID. And, everybody's getting vaccinated or is vaccinated. And so we were like, where could we go this summer? And, we have a timeshare, and we were looking at different places that's easy to get to. And so we settled in Orlando. Like, Orlando, it's a place to be. There's a lot to do. It has proximity to things like the beach, the amusement parks, all that stuff. And so, so we're going to hang out in Orlando for the week. And then I am a featured speaker, Sandy Cove Bible Conference Center up here in Northeast Maryland. They have what's called family camp. So for 5 weeks, they have family camp. So each week they have different families that come in for family camp, and I am the featured speaker for camp week 5. And thank you very much. Yeah, I went. They actually hired me to be a life coach there 2 years ago for family camp, and I had an awesome time. It was great because I was working, so to speak, but then they were like, bring your family. And so Mike got to go and do the kid stuff. Sharella got to just be, and Sandy Cove is one of those places, and this is a little plug for them. Sandy Cove is one of those places that you just feel connected to God. Like, it's just so quiet. It's at the top of the Chesapeake Bay. It's beautiful. And we made some great relationships through that. And then they didn't have it last year, because of COVID. And then I got a email a couple months ago. They said, hey, we really want you to come and be the speaker. And it was funny because they said, we want you to come and speak. And I was thinking they were going to have me come and do the life coach thing again, right? And they were like, and so I replied back, I said, yeah, is this going to be the life coach? She was like, no, we want you to be the speaker for the week. And I mean, they have people like Brian Laritz and all these other facilities. Yeah, they have all these. I mean, they have big names that come. So
you're gonna be rubbing shoulders.
I know, right? Yeah, Brian Laritz is not gonna be there that particular week, but still, it's like, but that's
you're in good company.
Yeah, you know who else they have come speak up there? Do you remember him from Chapel, Richard Allen Farmer? Remember he used to come to Chapel all the time. Yes. He's speaking at one of their conferences, not this one. So I mean, they get people like that, and so it's like, whoa, I get to do something like that. So yeah, so when we get back from vacation, we get back that Saturday night, and Sunday morning we drive one up, and then I'm speaking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then after that I have to head to Atlanta for the convention for the company I'm a health coach with, Optavia, and so I'll actually be in Atlanta for a few days for that, and so I'm excited that I get to actually travel again because
kudos to you.
I like my traveling, so yeah. So thanks.
And you know what? You're gonna get closer to God in Orlando too, because you're gonna be confessing all your sins.
Because
it's gonna be so hot.
That's right.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like, look, y'all need to repent now because y'all don't want to.
I can't go to.
This ain't happening. Are you doing anything for vacation this summer?
No, actually, I'm going home. Oh well, I say home, but my daddy's home.
Okay.
We're going to Alabama.
Alabama. Oh, in the summer.
Sweet home, Alabama.
Sweet home, Alabama. Wow.
Yes.
My goodness.
And I will be indoors only. Okay.
Indoors
air conditioning only.
I know that's right. Yeah, because the hot down there is just.
It don't play.
It grabs you by the collar, shakes you,
it makes you want to holler.
Makes you want to holler. But you're going to have a good time down there. That is awesome. Very good. Mm-hmm. Well, Crystal, it was great hanging out with you. Thank you so much for being willing to be a guest. I'm not going to say goodbye to you just yet. We're going to go ahead and do this last shot, and then we're going to come back and close out.
Focused on photo, versed in video, For Any Media brings visions to life from headshots to family shoots, casual candids to structured scenes. Our team can provide whatever you need. In Baltimore, you may have seen us at local events such as the Poly City Tailgate or the Randallstown Romp. You can find us on all social media platforms at the number 4 Any Media. For Any Media, for anything. Contact us so we can create.
All righty. Well, Crystal, what they say, now it's time to say goodbye to all my little friends. What was that? Mickey Mouse, MICKYMOUSC. Well, it has been honored to have you hang out with us. Crystal, how can people reach you? Like if they want to check out your YouTube channel and check you out, your funny stories on Facebook, how can they reach you?
I'm on Crystal Frowner at Facebook. But on YouTube, my channel is called The Smiling Frowner. The Smiling Frowner.
Oh, that.
Yes.
I like that. The media person in me likes that. The Smiling Frowner. That is awesome. Very
so
good.
Like, subscribe, come over, get a laugh, get your smile on. Goes back to your headspace for earlier. Mm-hmm.
Yes, get your smile on. Very good. The Smiling Frowner. That is awesome. I don't know why. I'm not surprised. Like, I always knew that you were going to be up to great things. And so we're going to have to check out the Smiling Frowner. We're going to have the Smiling Frowner back on. And they put it. Thank you, Brother Miles. The Smiling Frowner. There it is right there. Oh, my gosh. Well, do you have any final thoughts you want to give the people before we close out?
Always remember to smile.
Always remember to smile. I agree. Make sure you think of what your smile factor is. The magic begins with a smile. Everybody, I wish you God's many blessings on your life. I pray rich blessings on your life. I pray that the Lord shows you that he is in control of the situation. Many of us need a reminder. We know that he's there. We know that he has us in the palm of his hands, but sometimes we just need that gentle reminder from him to know, you know what, I'm there. I think back to the breath of God. There's hymns all the time. We talk about the breath of God, breathe on me. And it's not until we get a little older that you start really realizing what that really feels like. Mm-hmm. Right. And the breath of God, and I just prayed God's breath would just hit you right at the moment when you feel like you need it, especially when it's hot outside.
For sure.
On that note, Christy, Christine, Kim, Chris, I miss you all. Shavela, little Mike, I love y'all. And until next time, peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Headspace with Dr. Mike. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to follow us on social media at Headspace DM to continue the dialogue with other Headspacers regarding today's show. Everyone is filling their headspace with something. The question is, what are you filling yours with? Tune in next week.